Have you ever wondered how the worst pirate crew in One Piece would look like? How would it be like to sail the seas with the most incompetent band of misfits imaginable? What kind of chaos would ensue if you gathered the absolute worst pirates from the world of One Piece? Today, I'm building an absolutely worst pirate crew in One Piece. I'll assemble the most useless crew you've ever seen. I'll break down each role on the ship and handpick the characters who are the least suited for the job. By the end of this video, you'll witness the creation of a crew so dysfunctional, it'll make you grateful for any crew that actually knows what they're doing. So, what's the most important thing for a pirate crew? A ship, of course. A good ship is the backbone of any pirate crew, but we're aiming for the worst. When thinking about the worst ship, I have two ships in mind, the Micro Mary and the Going Lame. The Micro Mary is a tiny, fragile vessel that can barely hold one person, let alone an entire crew. It would sink at the slightest hint of a storm, and there's no space for supplies or cannons. It's a joke of a ship for any serious pirate. The Going Lame is an old, dilapidated ship that's falling apart at the seams. It leaks constantly, the sails are tattered, and it's slow as molasses. Pirates would laugh at this ship even more than they laugh at Buggy the Clown. For our ship, I'm going with the Going Lame. Its pathetic condition and constant maintenance issues perfectly complement our crew's incompetence. With a ship like this, we're guaranteed to have nothing but trouble on the high seas. So we have our ship ready. Let's gather our crew now. Who's the most important role on a ship? A captain. The leader who should guide the crew to glory. But not in this case. We need someone who would think the least about his crew. And for that, Eustace Kid could be a great choice. He's reckless and loves going after the strongest opponents. He's so stubborn, he'd put the crew in danger just to satisfy his ego. Imagine him steering the ship right into a Yonko's territory because he thinks he can take them on. Don Krieg, on the other hand, is a cowardly tyrant. He relies heavily on deceit and overwhelming firepower, often leading to self-inflicted harm. His betrayal and backstabbing make him the worst possible leader, ensuring constant internal strife and external peril. So, for our captain, we're going with Don Krieg. Why? Because nothing screams disaster like a captain who'd rather blow up his own ship than face the enemy head-on. With Don Krieg at the helm, the only direction we're heading is straight into chaos. Next, we need the vice captain, the right-hand man who should support the captain. But we're looking for the worst here. So who should be our vice captain? Well, who deserves the spot more than the one and only Buggy the Clown? Buggy is selfish, cowardly, and always ready to sacrifice his crew to save himself. He's the kind of guy who'd throw you under the bus, or the pirate ship, to save his own skin. Plus, he's a clown. Literally, imagine trying to take orders from a clown. These qualities make him a great choice to be our crew's vice captain. Next up, we have the helmsman, the one responsible for steering the ship. Ideally, they should have a good sense of direction, but let's find the worst. We need someone who'd take the ship where it must not go. After thinking for a while, I came up with the name, and that is Zoro. Yes, Zoro the Straw Hat Pirate Crew's swordsman. But why Zoro? Well, Zoro has the directional sense of a headless chicken. He can get lost on a straight path, turning any journey into an endless adventure of going nowhere. Definitely not who you want steering your ship. That's why we're going with Zoro. His ability to get lost anywhere will ensure our ship never reaches its intended destination. Perfect for a crew that's supposed to be the worst. Now we need someone to keep the ship in tip-top shape, or in our case, someone who will do the exact opposite. For this role, we can consider Corazon, who's clumsy and prone to accidental combustion. Imagine him trying to fix a hole in the ship and ending up setting it on fire instead. Disaster guaranteed. Alternatively, we have Spandam, who's not only incompetent but also cowardly. His poor decision-making skills would lead to more problems than solutions. He'd probably end up dismantling the ship instead of repairing it. For this position, I'll go with Corazon. His tendency to catch fire ensures our ship will be in a constant state of disrepair, if not completely burnt to ashes. A perfect fit for the worst crew ever. Okay, so we're already halfway to our crew, and you can already tell that this crew is a complete disaster. But hang on, because what's coming next is even worse. With so much chaos on the ship, there will be a lot of injuries, and that's why we need a doctor on the ship. A good doctor is essential for any crew, but we're looking for the worst possible candidate to handle medical emergencies. A good doctor heals patients, and a bad doctor kills his patients. So we need a doctor who, when they treat the patients, they just leave this mortal world. Caesar the Clown would be an ideal choice for this role. He's a mad scientist who loves experimenting on people. His medical knowledge is more about creating weapons and causing harm than healing. Just imagine the chaos he'd cause with a scalpel in his hand. But we need even worse than this. Secondly, Hody Jones is a violent extremist with no medical training. His solution to every problem is brute force, and he's addicted to energy steroids, which increase his aggression but reduce his lifespan. Definitely not the guy you want handling your health. And for the doctor, we're going with Hody Jones. His aggressive nature and lack of medical knowledge make him the perfect candidate to ensure the crew's health is always in jeopardy. Perfect for our disastrous crew. Let's move on to our next role. Every pirate crew needs a musician to lift their spirits, but we need someone who'd have our crew with their fingers in their ears all the time. Let's find the worst possible choice for this role. When thinking about the worst musician, Pika could be a great choice. Pika's voice is the stuff of nightmares. The moment he starts singing, the crew, and any enemies within earshot, will be too busy laughing to fight. Not exactly the inspiring tunes you'd hope for on a pirate ship. Apu's music can literally cause physical harm. His abilities might end up injuring the crew rather than entertaining them. Plus, his abrasive personality won't help crew morale. But his music might not do as much harm to our crew as Pika's might. That's why, for our musician, Pika is our choice. His horrifying voice will ensure the crew is always in a state of distress, making it impossible for them to function properly. The perfect musician for the worst crew. Okay, now we need a navigator. This is one of the most important roles on any pirate ship. The navigator's job is to guide the ship to its destination. Let's find the worst candidate for this crucial role. Caribou is treacherous and unreliable. He'll more likely lead the crew into a trap or betray them for his own gain. His navigation skills are questionable at best. But is he the worst possible navigator? Well, he might be, but I can think of an even worse navigator, and his name is Roronoa Zoro. We all know Zoro has a terrible sense of direction. He's the last person you'd want navigating your ship. His ability to get lost is unmatched, ensuring the crew never reaches their destination. A key ingredient for the worst crew imaginable. Imagine Zoro first navigating the worst possible direction to go, and then actually leads the ship there. I mean, that would be a disaster. This is why Zoro will be the navigator and the helmsman of this ship. Next, the crew needs a sniper. A sniper needs precision and skill, but we're looking for the absolute opposite of that. Let's find the worst possible candidate for this role. And the first choice that comes to mind for this role is Foxy. Foxy's Noro beam slows things down, but he lacks the accuracy and patience required for sniping. His tricks are more about stalling than hitting precise targets. Whereas the second choice is Vanderdecken. His devil fruit power requires him to touch his target to hit it. A sniper who has to get up close and personal? That's like bringing a sword to a gunfight. Absolutely the worst. So for the sniper, I'll be going with Vanderdecken. His devil fruit power is the worst imaginable for a sniper. Perfect for our hilariously inept crew. Next, we need a cook. A good cook is essential for keeping the crew fed and healthy. Let's find the worst possible candidate to handle the kitchen. And who could be worse than Wanz, who is known for his disgusting cooking methods, like using his face to prepare ramen. His food is more likely to make the crew sick than nourish them. But disgusting food is not the only metric here. We need someone who could feed poison to the crew. And there comes Luffy, our fearless, food-loving captain who could turn any meal into a disaster. Imagine him whipping up a dish with raw ingredients, bones, and who knows what else. It's a recipe for disaster. Or worse, food poisoning, possibly leading to severe diseases that could kill the rest of the crew. So for the cook, we're going with Luffy. Next, we need a pet. Let's find the worst possible creature to keep on board. Well, there are actually some really bad pet options in One Piece. For example, Momu, a giant sea cow that's easily scared and can cause massive destruction when panicked. He's more trouble than he's worth as a pet, but he won't harm his crew to a great extent. Secondly, we have Ankoro, the giant fish. This massive fish has an appetite for destruction. It could destroy the whole ship along with the crew within a matter of seconds. Keeping it as a pet is like having a ticking time bomb on board. It won't be long before it decides the ship looks like a tasty snack. So for our pet, we're choosing Ankoro, the giant fish, the perfect pet for our disastrously incompetent pirate crew. And there you have it, the worst pirate crew imaginable. Thanks for joining me on this hilarious journey into the world of One Piece's worst possible crew. Oh no, the going lame is already slowly sinking as the crew argues on deck. What a mess. We'll see you next time. Meanwhile, click here to see this other cool anime video. Go ahead, click it.